Happy Friday. How are you guys doing? Hey cousins. What's up? Welcome in. Oh, I forgot to change that from my video last night, but I said what I said, okay? Anyway, y'all, welcome into Time Bites TV Homestead. You see the title. Listen, we knew May 2nd was coming, and May 2nd is here, and he didn't back down from it. He got rid of the de minimis tariff. The de minimis tariff is now gone. If you don't know what that is, I'm going to tell you. Okay. I'm trying to wait for some people to come in. I don't know. YouTube has not shared me out, I guess. But it's okay. We're going to get to it. As you enter, please hit that like button. Leave your comments, all the goodies. Where's the article? Oh, shoot. I forgot to share it. Oh, we knew that this day was coming and people are going to pay more. And Temu is not going to be selling to the US, at least not out of China. They came up with a plan to get around the tariff just a little bit, but eventually those supplies are going to run out. Let's see. Is this it? Okay. No, that's the other one. I didn't want to do Reuters first. Yeah, let's not do Reuters first. Let's see. Here we go. So as of today, parcels worth less than $800 will be subject to 120% levy or flat fee of $100, rising to $200. That is on top of the 145% tariff that's already in place on all Chinese imports. Basically, it's going to be about $245 or so. So the White House has accused sellers of China of deceptive shipping practices to take advantage of the loophole. So he decided to close that loophole because he said it was very unfair. And that loophole closed today. Trump also argues that the free flow of small packages into the U.S. has allowed deadly drugs, especially fentanyl and chemicals. Now, there's really not a lot of proof of that, but it is what it is. These exports play a significant role in the synthetic opioid crisis, he said. Prices will probably increase and some options have become unavailable. The Chinese e-commerce company Temu announced on Friday that it would stop shipping low-cost items from China and sell directly to U.S. customers. The fast fashion company Shein has also reportedly already started increasing their prices on some of their goods. In other data compiled by Bloomberg found that the average price for the top 100 products sold by Shein in the beauty and health category increased by 51% in the past week, while a 10-piece set of kitchen towels increased in price by 377%. The average increase for women's clothing was 8%. So it is definitely going to cost more if you're getting items directly from China. A spokesperson for Temu said the company had recently transitioned to a local fulfillment model, meaning that all U.S. sales were handled by sellers within the country. Despite the operational shift, Temu pricing for U.S. consumers remain unchanged. Now, I must say, even though they have like a little warehouse here where they have items that, can come from there, it will eventually run out, because when they have to replace it, they're going to have to pay that tariff. Those are items that they have been stocking up before this happened. So once that runs out, they're going to have to pay that tariff. The White House says that the U.S. Customs Agency apprehended more than 21,000 pounds of fentanyl at the border in the last fiscal year. Before 2020, the year after China cracked down on fentanyl suppliers, 90% of the fentanyl consumed in the U.S. came directly from China. Now nearly all of the supply comes across the U.S.-Mexico border, not from packages shipped directly from China. China's government and trade associations say the pain will be felt by American consumers rather than Chinese exporters. The Commerce Ministry said earlier this year that the U.S. tariff hikes will undoubtedly increase costs for American consumers and degrade their shopping experience. Industry groups, including the China Textiles Association, have backed the government position and accused the U.S. Let's see. Shein is reportedly considering pausing its widely anticipated London IPO amid uncertainty around how the tariffs will affect its business. The company did not respond to requests for comment. JD.com, one of China's e-commerce companies, has promised to buy products from Chinese exporters to sell in the domestic market. Crazy. Hold on, go to the other one. Hey, y'all. I finally got some people in here. What channel did this come up on? Did this come up on the Tommy Bites Homestead channel or the Tommy Bites TV 2.0? Because I can't tell. I might have put it on the wrong channel. Hey, Kyra. Hey, Karen. Let me look and see before we go any further. Oh, the Homestead channel. Okay. So YouTube just didn't push me out. That's what it was. So thank y'all for coming in. I appreciate each of y'all for being here today. Hey, who is that saying hi? Hey, Alan, how are you? Hey, Cakes. Let me stop. How are y'all today? It's been one. It's early, but it's been one. I must say the pool looks so much better. Although I still have a few things to do to it. Okay, so let's go over to the other article. Right, I gotta get rid of something. I got too many things, browsers open. So we're gonna get rid of that one. So the BBC is reporting also that Temu is stopping selling goods from China directly to U.S. customers. So read in between the lines. So, people are going to find a loophole to something. They were like, okay, we know that he's going to stick to this, and we just going to be shipping stuff over here to the U.S. That way, when you purchase, hopefully, and kudos to them for trying to make sure that whoever's ordering from them is not having to pay that extra high price, or trying to keep their prices as low as they can keep them for now. This won't last most likely, but when you order from Temu right now, you'll be getting it from a warehouse somewhere in the United States. So it's not coming directly from China, so you won't have that extra fee. So go ahead and get your order on, y'all, before they run out of whatever it is you're ordering. Okay, so Temu has said that it will stop selling goods imported from China in the U.S. directly to consumers, well, to customers. The online marketplace said sales would now be handled by local-based sellers. Okay, that's repeating. Let's see, Temu and rival Chinese retail giant Shane, which I have never ordered anything from there. I had previously relied on so-called de minimis exemptions to sell and ship low-value items directly to the U.S. without having to pay duties or import taxes. And that's going to include your TVs. That's anything coming from China. Anything coming from China. Thank goodness it's not coming from the Bahamas, because I sent my son a few dollars to get me just a 4-ounce rum cake, chocolate rum cake, while he's in the Bahamas. I don't want to have to pay anything extra once he goes through customs with that. But supporters of the de minimis loophole, which applied to parcels worth less than $800, argue it helps streamline the customs process, meaning, it's going to take longer now for things to go through. Both Trump and his predecessor, Joe Biden, said it damaged American businesses, which I can see that also, and was used to smuggle illegal goods, including rugs. De minimis is a Latin term which loosely translates to English as the smallest. Okay, learn something today. In this context, it refers to the U.S. trade rule enacted in Congress in 1938 to avoid the expense of collecting only small amounts of import levies. What is this? That's caught my eye, y'all. China is evaluating U.S. offer to talk tariffs. Okay, let's get to talking now. Warns against extortion. Look at them ports. Look at them. This is China. Well, shipping containers from China are shown at the port of Los Angeles. So it says Beijing is evaluating in all. That's better than nothing, because they said they wasn't even trying to talk to the U.S. But Beijing is now evaluating an offer from Washington to hold talks over U.S. President Donald Trump's 145% tariff. China Commerce Ministry said on Friday, although it warned the United States not to engage in extortion or coercion, like they did with who is it? Ukraine. All of a sudden, we got to deal with Ukraine. Washington and Beijing. Now, see, I wouldn't have believed this, but it's coming from China saying that they are in talks, because for a while, Trump has been saying they've been in talks and they haven't been. But Washington and Beijing have been locked in a cat and mouse game over tariffs, with both sides unwilling to be seen to back down in a trade war that has rolled global markets and upended supply chains. The Commerce Ministry said the United States has approached China to seek talks over Trump's tariffs, and Beijing's door was open for discussion, signaling a potential de-escalation in the trade war, which would be great for us. But it's still going to give us some empty shelves, because we are weeks behind on shipments leaving China. And it takes weeks to get here. So the statement comes a day after a social media account linked to Chinese state media said Washington had been seeking to start talks, and a week after Trump claimed discussions were already underway, which Beijing denied. The U.S. has recently taken the initiative on many occasions to convey information to China through relevant parties, saying it hopes to talk with China. The statement said, adding that Beijing was evaluating this. I mean, it didn't help. The talks probably could have started sooner had the vice president kept his mouth shut and not called Chinese people peasants. that, you know, the peasants are making the things for the US. Well, you want to bring manufacturing here. Are you going to call the US people who work in the factories peasants? I mean, that's just disgusting. But anyway, the US should be prepared to take action in correcting erroneous practices, they say, and cancel unilateral tariffs, the Commerce Ministry said. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen. So I don't know how these talks going to go, y'all. And that Washington needed to show sincerity in negotiations. Like I said, I don't know how that's going to go because I haven't seen any sincerity at all other than being sincere in doing what they're doing. The punishing U.S. tariffs on many Chinese products saw Beijing respond in April with levies on imports of U.S. goods of 125% as Beijing labeled Trump's tariff strategy a joke. The tit for tat increases stand to make goods trades between the world's two largest economies impossible. Yeah, nothing's impossible though, but people just got to be willing. Let's see. Chinese exporters' profit margins and making American products in China similar exorbitant. China has repeatedly denied it is seeking to negotiate a way out of the tariffs with the United States, appearing instead to be betting that Washington makes the first move. So this is why we are where we are. It is a measuring contest. It's a measuring contest, y'all. It's a measuring contest. That's my breakfast. I haven't eaten it yet. It's my breakfast. Trump's decision to single out Beijing for hefty import duties come at a particularly difficult time for China, which is struggling with deflation due to sluggish economic growth and prolonged property crisis. So China only wants to talk if Trump is going to drop these tariffs. I don't know how that's going to go. Let's go over here. Oh, where is it? Let's see what she's explaining. Well, this was yesterday's video.
Closing the loophole for those cheap imports to show up at your house or business without a tariff. That loophole is called the de minimis tax exemption. Now, I've been reporting about this for a few weeks, but let me give you the backstory. Since 1930, Congress understood that not every single import coming into the United States needed to be tariffed because it would just cost the government more time and effort to collect the tariffs on those small items than they're really worth. 10 years ago, in 2015, Congress set the de minimis tax exemption at $800. So anything that comes into the United States with a value less than $800 is not subject to tariffs. That's how for all these years, you've been able to get super cheap stuff from China, like from DHgate and Shein and Temu, without being forced to pay a tariff. Well, on the so-called Liberation Day, President Trump signed an executive order that closed the loophole on the de minimis tax exemption. And on top of that, added a huge fine to those imported packages. Trump's order says starting on May 2nd at 12:01 a.m. Eastern, there will be no more de minimis treatment for any package coming into the United States, specifically from China or Hong Kong. And on top of that, the American importer of that package from China or Hong Kong sent through the International Postal Network will either have to pay a tax equivalent to 120% of the package value, or will have to pay a flat $100 package fee to the United States government. Then on June 1st, that fee is going to increase to $200.
That's crazy.
By the way, FedEx and UPS also announced that they too are adding surcharges for parcels coming into the United States from China and Hong Kong.
Oh yeah, that part. I forgot about that part. Thank you for reminding me, lady. That's an extra fee. So even if, you know, the company sends it, it gets to UPS or FedEx, you got to pay that fee. So I don't know how much you're saving.
Hong Kong. Now, Let's be real. Who do you think is going to pay those fees on your $18 Shein dress? Shein? Probably not. That fee is going to trickle down to you in some way. And if you think that this doesn't apply to you because you don't shop at Shein or Temu, think again. Lots of American businesses order parts or components from China or Hong Kong wholesalers to create their Made in America products. Yes, as I have reported repeatedly, U.S. law specifically says you can't have imported materials in your product and still call it Made in America as long as most of the items are made here. And businesses have been benefiting from this de minimis tax exemption for years and have been able to get under $800 worth of parts and components to make their items in America. Not to mention all the small businesses that import fully formed toys and electronics from China and then just slap their own label on it. Look, lots of American small businesses and everyday Americans, as I said, have been benefiting from this de minimis tax exemption. And we know this because the numbers prove it. Over the last 10 years, we have seen an explosion of the number of shipments coming into the United States claiming the de minimis tax exemption. Customs and Border Protection says in fiscal year 2024, almost 1.4 billion packages from foreign countries came into the United States duty-free. That's more than a 600% increase over the last decade. Bottom line, tomorrow that de minimis tax exemption will be gone.
Today.
And in June, the per package cost is going to double. Starting tomorrow, your Shein or Temu order and other things will be costing you more. That's because tomorrow is the day President Trump is officially closing.
Hi, everyone. I wanted to alert you all.
Listen, I know these videos from Chinese manufacturers.
He working out.
Hey guys, just want to update you on the Oasis and the Orons. So the package is with customs because anything above $800 now requires a thing called formal entry. You can look this up yourself. Formal entry, you have to submit social security card, like an actual picture of the actual card, EIN information for your business, and the process is hideous. So I apologize again for the delay, but I think I gave you guys a heads up. Hence the reason why I did not require like the full payment. Just please be patient with me. The slides and the sandals.
This is going to hurt small business so much. I mean, this is going to hurt. I mean, I get why they're doing it, but it's going to hurt. Let's see.
If you've ever bought something from Shein, Temu, or Amazon Haul, chances are you've benefited from something called the de minimis exemption. The exemption allows packages valued at under $800 to enter the United States duty-free. But as part of an escalating trade war with China, President Trump signed an executive order ending the de minimis exemption specifically on packages from China and Hong Kong. It's slated to end May 2nd. In response, Hong Kong's postal service has stopped package service to the US, and Shein and Temu have announced they will raise prices in the US starting April 25th, citing increased operating expenses. To discuss what this means for American consumers, I'm joined by Clark Packard, a research fellow at the Cato Institute. Clark, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So, Clark, let's just start here. What is the purpose of the de minimis exemption? Why do we have it, and why did President Trump end it specifically for China?
The de minimis exemption exists to help facilitate trade between countries. It doesn't make sense to spend $1 trying to collect 50 cents worth of tariffs or duties. So it's been a function of U.S. trade policy for almost 100 years, but it's kind of fallen out of favor in recent years.
In ending it for specifically China, the Trump administration said they're doing this to combat the flow of fentanyl. Is ending de minimis for China an effective tool to stop this?
I'm somewhat skeptical of that. First of all, every package, even packages that arrive under the de minimis exemption, are scanned by Customs and Border Protection, looking for illicit substances, drugs, for example. You know, they're fairly successful at that. But if you just end the exemption for just China, that leaves out other providers or other suppliers of fentanyl. For example, India and Myanmar and other Southeast Asian countries are known to produce large quantities of fentanyl.
A Congressional Research Service study found an estimated $66 billion worth of goods entered from China under the de minimis exemption in 2023. So if you're an American consumer, how might the end of the exemption affect your life?
I think American consumers can anticipate two things. One, higher costs for goods that they're purchasing from abroad. But second, and maybe more importantly, it will slow down the process, right? Like one of the benefits of the exemption is that it helps speed up and facilitates the pretty seamless flow of goods to American consumers. So I anticipate that eliminating that exemption, again, will raise costs for American consumers and also slow down the process. I'm not sure that it'll be super popular with a lot of Americans.
Could this hurt American businesses too? Individual consumers aren't the only ones who bring in goods using this exemption.
Yeah, I mean, look, a number of small businesses in the United States, I'm sure, utilize this system. If you have a small business, maybe some of your inputs, intermediate products that you're using might come in under the exemption, and that's going to hurt small businesses as well.
Nearly 2/3 of the 1.4 billion packages that entered the U.S. under the de minimis exemption last year came from China. You mentioned the delay. Is U.S. Customs going to be equipped to process what will be hundreds of millions of packages for duty fees?
Yeah, that to me is the most important question here. Back in February, the Trump administration ended the de minimis exemption with only a 12-hour lead time. And in the 2 days that the exemption was suspended for China, something like 1 million packages sort of piled up at JFK, and I'm sure that was the case at LAX and other ports of entry. And so I think there's a legitimate question about how the administration is going to be able to sort of implement this in any sort of efficient manner.
So this is just going to cause a headache for people in customs, people at FedEx, all these other logistic places. That's all it is. Just another headache. Sorry, y'all. Okay, so just wanted to let y'all know what was going on. Expect higher prices. I wonder how this is going to affect, though, places like the Dollar Tree. Well, really all places, but especially the Dollar Tree, because they pretty much get all of their stuff probably from China. And what's that other store? I always forget to go to. Five and Below. I wonder how it's going to affect those stores. Hey, Miss Ann, how are you this morning? Hey, Plain, good morning. Good morning, lovely. You'll be buying no prize and stuff. Probably. I mean, I don't buy Temu, so I don't know. Stores carry the same merch or mark it up. You know what? They all do. Look at what came out with all the expensive name brand clothes and stuff, and China came out and said, hey, they making that stuff over here. We shipping it to them. They putting their label on it and they marking it up. That's what people do. But people out here buying Gucci bags and all this other stuff and don't have nothing to put in it. Morning, Carolyn. How are you? Hey, Brandy. Oh, yeah, most definitely. The medications are now, honestly, because it's already coming in, right? So everything's going up. But just wanted to let y'all know and do a little short video. I'll see you guys later on today in a live. I have to head out, and y'all definitely stay safe. Keep stocking up, keep prepping, keep doing all the things you need to do. Don't let anybody tell you anything different. If it's what you want to do and it's not going to hurt, harm anybody, go on and do it. Life is too short to be going back and forth with people. Oh, for real? You said where? Ross? I haven't been to Ross in a minute. We're 20 years. I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. Now, my daughter, she orders from Temu all the time. She has some really nice frames. I was like, how much you pay for those? 10 cents? Because you got about 20 of them. But yeah. You too, Lydia. Have a great day. Y'all take care. Hit the like if you have not. And I'll see y'all later.